Thanks for joining us for the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise here on KGW+. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Trina Green. We start this hour with breaking news in southeast Portland, where fire crews are investigating a food cart explosion.
KGW's Libby Dowsett is live along Southeast 82nd Avenue. So Libby, witnesses told us earlier they saw flames and heavy smoke coming from that pod.
That is definitely true, Drew. We're at the Springwater Cart Park. Now with the light up, you can see the damage much more clearly. We've pushed into the scene here, and we are at 82nd and Harney. Police confirming 6 carts and 2 buildings were damaged just before 4:30 this morning. Police saying fortunately no one was injured in this explosion, but they say at least 2 of these carts, including Philly Billy right here in the front, are complete losses. Police saying 1 cart had its stove fly from one end of the cart to the other, and witnesses showing up describing this explosion as huge and even thunderous. One couple telling us they were blocks away at Southeast 47th and Woodstock, about to leave for work when they heard the boom. And we were able to go inside the food court this morning to see the damage close up. And we saw doors blown off, glass shattered, and 2 buildings also burned. Portland police saying no official cause at this point, but they are saying these food carts run on propane, so they're looking into that. Drew, China.
Libby Dowsett live for us this morning there in Southeast Portland. We have more breaking news to get to as well as we track a deadly shooting that happened in Northeast Portland. So police say the call about this came in just after 11 o'clock last night. Officers say they found a man with gunshot wounds at Northeast 102nd and Sandy Boulevard. They also say he died at the scene. Anyone with information about this shooting should contact Portland Police. We'll go back to some of our other local headlines here in just a moment, but first we want to check in with Rod Hill and a look at today's forecast.
Well, I have a simple weather forecast for you. The only difficulty is it's cool this morning, jacket time. It's going to be summer warmth in the 80s later this afternoon, so, plan your wardrobe accordingly. We are perfectly clear. No valley fog or low cloudiness this morning. There's our state capital. Temperature down in Salem is 51 degrees. Cool if you're going to be outdoors for an extended period of time. And waiting for the sun to pop over the Cascades any moment now as we look at Mount Hood from the Wells Fargo camera. Clear skies, 53 is the number. So to the bus stop, 50's out the door. Sun is now up, sunny and 73 at noon. And then there's that summer heat, about 83 later on when the kids get out of school. Temperatures will climb at least into the mid-80s in that 4 or 5 o'clock hour. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with the traffic alert on the Banfield. Westbound I-84, a couple cars tangled up in a fender bender just west of Lloyd Center. It looks like ODOT's got that cleared to the shoulder. They've got a tow truck out there as well. It's been there a while, unfortunately, and that's got the westbound I-84 drive pretty thick now out towards 82nd Avenue. If you're hopping on the freeway right now, this is, believe it or not, an improvement, but just know that getting in from Troutdale, we're ahead of schedule with the drive time, as in busier than you would typically expect. 30 plus minutes now from Troutdale west to the I-5 split. Okay, here's a quick check of the west side. Inbound Sunset, of course, riding the brakes coming down the hill from Sylvan, and that drive in from Clark County. 205 looks fine. I-5, we got the normal slow and go over the Interstate Bridge. Guys, it's a 12-minute ride to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont.
Thank you, Chris. Gresham police are asking for help finding a missing man they believe to be in danger. So take a good look at your screen here. This is 81-year-old William Bill Collins. He was last seen at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, leaving his care home on Northeast Hacienda Avenue. Collins is diabetic, depends on insulin. He's about 5'11" and was last seen using a walker and wearing a red baseball hat, black and gray jacket, black pants, black shoes. Police say he's familiar with TriMed and may travel to the VA hospital in Portland. Anyone with information on his whereabouts should call 911.
We're taking a closer look this morning at the studies being done to determine if there's a link between Tylenol and intellectual disabilities, autism, or ADHD.
This comes after President Donald Trump announced the FDA will work to add new labels to acetaminophen, more commonly known as Tylenol, to warn that the use of drug by pregnant women could be tied to autism in their babies.
This study was done in Sweden and looked at children born in 1995 through 2019 for a total of nearly 2.5 million children. In the study, they controlled for many factors, including the mother's pre-existing conditions, including migraines, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic pain, and infection 1 year before pregnancy through delivery. This was also a prospective study. meaning they asked moms at their first appointment and every appointment until delivery if they had taken any Tylenol. This avoids possible recall biases, meaning asking those with a diagnosis if they remember if they took medication while they were pregnant. What they have found initially is a 0.0% higher risk of autism until they controlled for siblings. This means they looked at families who had one child with a neurodivergent disability but didn't take Tylenol and another when they did take Tylenol. In those families, there is likely a genetic component. When sibling control was accounted for, there was no link or association between Tylenol or acetaminophen use in pregnancy and an increased risk of autism.
So we also spoke to a local pediatrician about this topic. Here's what he had to say.
Tylenol is one of the only and one of the safest options for pain control in pregnancy, and that is an essential aspect of necessary health care. Pain and fever in pregnancy needs to be treated with Tylenol, and not treating pain and fever can lead to complications for the mother and for the baby.
One more note on this topic. Yesterday, the FDA issued a press release noting that acetaminophen is the only drug approved to treat fevers during pregnancy. And they also noted that aspirin and ibuprofen both have well-documented adverse impacts on unborn children.
Safeway and Albertsons pharmacies across Oregon and Washington are now offering an updated COVID vaccine, so customers can walk in or make an appointment online. Children under 7 years old will need to see their pediatrician for the vaccine. You'll also want to check directly with your insurer about any potential costs, including copays.
We're 6 weeks away from the special election in November, so that's when voters in Vancouver get to decide whether to raise taxes to pay for more police officers. Proposition 5, also known as the Police Services Levy, would raise $6 million a year for 6 years to hire up to 13 officers. For some context here, if the levy passes, Vancouver's mayor says someone who owns a $500,000 home would pay an additional $75 a year in property taxes.
We have so many officers with a great amount of overtime. So 2 officers are doing the work of 3 with all of the overtime.
It's not that big of a deal. I mean, especially like I said, compared to everything else. If it makes us safer, it's fine with me.
I mean, it's important to have police, and there's so much homelessness here.
All right, we'll see what happens in November. This much we know for sure. A similar but larger ballot measure failed last year in Vancouver. Ballots for November's special election are going to go out in the mail next month.
Hillsborough police are warning people about credit card skimmers. Authorities shared these photos of 3 devices that were found in just the last 20 minutes. We learned that the locations of those devices are at Dollar Tree locations on Northwest 185th Avenue and 2 stores on Southeast Tualatin Valley Highway. Thieves often place card skimmers directly over the keypad or card reader. Police say if anything looks loose or different when you go to pay, you should ask an employee to check it out. Or just use a different machine. Investigative reporter Kyla Boshi has been keeping an eye on card skimmers and efforts by scammers who's using them to steal funds from EBT cards. So you can check out the full reporting on KGW.com.
All right, live look outside. Ooh, sunrise happening. This is a live look this morning. Producer McKay, oh, it's right there on the screen. Thank you very much. The Chehalem Tasting Room Sky Cam out there in Sherwood presents us this shot. It was hard to see, Rob, because that sun was blinding. I tried to look at the screen to get the information, and I was blinded by the sun.
Now, our weather team has been all over the story predicting today's sunrise, I think 5 years ago.
Jeez Louise, you guys are great.
Thank you.
Fantastic at what you do.
We do have one camera showing some shallow or patchy fog, but just kind of hovering down along the ground. So that would be a great definition look at shallow fog. Clear skies up top. Heavy dew on the grass because of the fog. That's Lewis River Golf Course up along the Lewis River in Woodland, Washington. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Here are the cameras. Here's the Wells Fargo camera, again showing the sun still rising just north of Mount Hood. 53 is the number out at the airport. And we'll flip the camera view and just look across the Willamette back to the west. And you see the baby blue skies over downtown. Again, 53 out at the airport. It's going to be a beautiful day. It will be a rapid warm-up. Once we get into the afternoon, you will feel a return of summer heat. Well up into the 80s expected today, so FYI on that. part of our messaging this morning. A bit of an east wind moving the air in Troutdale, Gresham, and Happy Valley, all locations at 60 or better. Generally, winds are not expected to top 15 today, but the direction will be northeast to east. 49 in Dallas, 49 in Corvallis. So if you have calm conditions, you're down around 50 or even cooler. Here's the temperature March for your morning. This shows a 70 at 11. And look at this, 82 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, it looks to be a gimme that we will at least get up into the mid 80s this afternoon. This shows 87 Albany at 5 o'clock, 86 Portland, Salem, 80s in Madison Bend, and 80 out in La Grande. 60s and 70s with clear skies coming to the coast. A couple of 80s today and tomorrow, and then we're back into the 70s Thursday. These are all sunny afternoons through Sunday. The next rain chance shows up on Monday. I know Chris has been tracking a bit of a snafu on I-84.
Yeah, Banfield I-84 westbound still running extra slow here. So the good news is that earlier crash near Lloyd Center is out of the way, but the bad news is that the drive is a little busier than you might expect for this hour of a Tuesday morning commute. 25 minutes to get you in from Troutdale. That, believe it or not, it's actually dropped a little bit in the last little while. So some good news there. All right, let's switch gears. I'm going to take you down to West Lynn. Something's hanging up the drive here on I-205 southbound, south of Highway 43. So we're looking south, and so between Highway 43 and 10th Street, I'm not sure if we've got a disabled vehicle or maybe a fender bender or something in there, but the drive appears to be a little extra thick right now. We'll switch gears and take you over to Wilsonville. Not bad at Wilsonville Road, but the drive getting over the Boone Bridge from Charbonneau really building now from, well, basically Charbonneau north of Wilsonville Road. And of course, the drive from Clark County. Well, I can count on this every day at this time. That's what it looks like at SR 500. Guys, that drive in from Main Street up to about 22 minutes to the Fremont Bridge. Back to you.
Hey, Chris, I think you'll enjoy this next story coming up here on Sunrise. We're talking about breaking a world record again. We're going to look at the Oregon National Guard member who decided to break the record for most push-ups in an hour a second time. Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
All right, let's get back to the breaking news we've been following this morning in southeast Portland. That's where a food cart exploded overnight at this food cart pod at Southeast 82nd and Harney. Witnesses told us that they saw huge plumes of black smoke and flames coming from the top of the cart. This is a look at some of the cleanup efforts that are underway. Of course, an investigation is also underway about this as we wait to learn what caused that explosion.
One of the most iconic landmarks in Oregon. Whoa! It's marking its 100th birthday.
So we're talking about
Are we?
Yeah, we're talking.
Okay.
This is conversation. We're talking about Multnomah Falls. What'd you do to me? How did you give me all that stuff and put it in my mouth? We're talking about Multnomah Falls Lodge. KGW's Joe Ranieri has more. after talking to some visitors as you want to be, come in here. Don't
You read it. You'll do better than both of us.
You
Go
finish
ahead.
the line.
Start right there. KGW, Joe Ranieri, go ahead.
KGW's Joe Ranieri has more. Joe talked to some visitors as well as the family that runs this lodge.
You are good.
In Oregon, we have seen a lot of change in the last 100 years. 18 different presidents, 22 different Oregon governors, but the one constant, Multnomah Falls Lodge.
This is really special that we've had this dedication to this being a public space open to everyone for all of these years. It's really an iconic spot.
Every year, nearly 3 million people come through here from all over the world. Chris Thompson was just one of those visitors who came out here from Pennsylvania.
Coffee and snack shop. Yeah, it's well done here. It's a really great state park.
On Monday, the lodge celebrated its centennial. 100 years of helping people make memories and celebrate the beauty in the gorge.
My grandfather came here in 1977. He had been part of Crater Lake Lodge, and then he came here as a general manager for Multnomah Falls Company, and so it's really been a part of our family my entire life.
Jill Willis's family has been helping run the Multnomah Falls Lodge for decades. That includes the restaurant, gift shop, and maintaining the grounds.
Multnomah Falls Lodge has been through a lot. You know, it's seen pretty much every Pacific Northwest natural disaster that we've come to know, and yet it's still here.
Some of her favorite memories are the same ones we all share.
Hiking with my family, getting that iconic picture, going back through my photos. I was just doing this recently with my mom, and we have so many photos. You can literally just watch me grow up.
Exploring one of the most beautiful places in our state, and now the goal for the next 100 years?
It's a privilege that we can protect this for future generations.
Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
All right, I've been looking forward to this story all morning, and this is actually really impressive. Oh, I thought we were going to go right to the video, but we're looking at me. An Oregon Army National Guard physician assistant has pushed his way back into the record books. Here's the video I'm excited to show you. Major Tommy Vu ripped through 1,721 push-ups in 1 hour at a West Salem gym, smashing the previous world record of 1,530 push-ups in an hour's time. Now, yeah, of course, he's allowed to take breaks during that point. The idea is how many can you do, whether you take a break or not, in 1 full hour. Vu actually held this record before, but then earlier this year, someone broke his record in New York.
I always say, I encourage everybody to pick out small goals in their life. I mean, I do fitness stuff, but whatever goals you guys set, start small, work your way up. Eventually you grow your goals into these crazy things.
So Vu says that he dedicated this latest effort to his family's pet dog who passed away earlier this year. He pledged $1 per push-up to the Oregon Humane Society. Again, he had the record. It was broken in New York earlier this year. Now it looks like he has it back, although it still has to be officially verified by Guinness World Records.
His arms are bigger than mine, which probably explains why I can't do that many.
All right.
1,700 plus. You out of here?
Because I know how this goes. Go ahead.
The push-ups on the desk. Honestly, I'm not up for this.
Go ahead.
Up for it.
You gonna do it on the desk?
You want to join me?
You would never pass. Are you okay? You're not. Yeah.
We're zooming out.
You would never pass up.
All right.
An opportunity.
Do at least 20 here, Drew.
20?
20 on the desk. You ready?
No, I just said I wasn't up for it.
We'll count 1, 2, 3.
Come on. Do them.
4,
You're counting ahead of my push-ups.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This isn't bad. 10. Coming up on a dozen right there, Drew. You only got 8 to go. 13, 14, 15. We hope this is good TV for you at home, by the way. 17, 18. Are you tired?
Yes.
19. Do it one more, baby. All right. That was impressive, actually.
Do it because Mickey loves you.
Okay. You're pitting
Reference
out. Okay. Oh, Rocky. Got it.
I mean, that was impressive. I hear me. High five. I thought that was impressive, Mr. Carney. Yeah, right there.
Ooh, now you're all sweaty.
Oh.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's getting all
Winded.
It's getting all over the desk, actually, Drew. Somebody get a towel. Thank you for watching our show. I know it can be painful at times. 53 out the door, 74 at noon, 85 at 5 o'clock. The big headline here is the cool start and the really warm finish. So, dress accordingly. You're not going to need a jacket or even long sleeves on later today. We have clear skies, minus basically some shallow fog along the coast. Otherwise, With few exceptions, it's mainly perfectly clear outside. Here's one of those exceptions, Lewis River Golf Course. You saw the shallow fog there up in Woodland. Here's the Vancouver at the Springs at the waterfront. This is a gorgeous view. The Columbia being illuminated by the rising sun, glassy waters once again, 50 up in Vancouver. Here's a look at the rising sun from that Chehalem tasting room camera out in Sherwood, and we will be clear today. Temperatures 52 up in Seattle. Wherever you travel today, you will find clear skies. Freezing this morning out in Burns and Baker City. Forecast numbers later today. Here they are. Temperatures well up into the 70s at the coast, thanks to the sunshine and the fact that the wind direction is easterly, northeast. That will allow warming at the beach. Astoria is 78, Pacific City 76, Newport and Yaquina Bay itself up to around 70. Valley numbers. These temperatures are about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday's. You'll notice a big change. I mean, it could be near 90 in Corvallis and Salem, 88 and 89 degrees. Similar warm numbers up in Southwest Washington. This shows Longview 85, Battleground 87, Vancouver 85. Clear skies, warm afternoon, northeast winds 5 to 10. And here come our 7-day numbers. No big changes from yesterday. Couple days in the 80s. If you're wondering, the records are still up into the 90s. Not every single day, but many days all the way through October 5th. Still has a record high of 90 degrees. Thursday, we get back to more of a westerly marine flow. That could bring some low clouds or fog pockets in the morning, but these are all sunny afternoons, Thursday through Sunday. Our next rain chance shows up Monday afternoon getting into Tuesday of next week. And that's your update. Here's Chris with the latest on your traffic.
All right, let's take you to Clark County and predictable, almost as predictable as the sunrise, the I-5 drive here from SR 500. It is slow and steady, the 2 miles down to the Interstate Bridge and beyond now. 26 minutes gets you in from Main Street south to I-405. Over on the east side, the Banfield still struggling a little bit from some earlier trouble near Lloyd Center. That crash, by the way, is out of the way, but we're a little thick coming in from that side of town. Door number 3, I believe, is going to take us over to 217. It is Highway 26 inbound. The driver's kind of getting ready to watch the sun come up over the Sylvan Hills. So I expect this 21-minute drive from Hillsborough to jump up here in the next little while. But so far, it looks like we're in relatively good shape for our Tuesday morning drive. I'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Almost 200 world leaders and other national representatives are in the U.S. today for the 80th United Nations General Assembly. President Trump is set to speak to the group later this morning. Amy Kiley has the latest.
President Donald Trump is in New York to address the UN General Assembly. The White House says he'll tout U.S. strength and what he considers his personal accomplishments.
He will articulate his straightforward and constructive vision for the world.
Many are waiting to hear what, if anything, Trump says about Gaza. Roughly 80% of UN members now back Palestinian statehood after several recognized it this week.
We need to give the Palestinians hope for the future and also make sure that the Israelis can live in peace.
What we saw here at the UN, it's actually supporting Hamas. It doesn't support ending of the war.
Recognizing a Palestinian state is largely symbolic without the U.S., and the Trump administration is not pushing for that statehood. In fact, it's barring Palestinian leaders from the General Assembly by denying them visas.
I call upon Israel to immediately sit on the negotiating table, to put an end to this bloodshed.
The State Department rejects a recent UN conference on a two-state solution. As for Trump himself, here he is in July, deferring to the Israeli Prime Minister on the topic.
I don't know. I'd ask Bibi that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that age-old question, two-state.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise, 80 years after her murder, the woman known only as the Oak Grove Jane Doe may finally be able to reclaim her real name. How forensic investigators are trying to crack Oregon's oldest cold case. Plus,
everyone has a different price tag on their American dream, but when we looked at what people want, the wants that people have, not the needs, it totals to more than $5 million.
that's how much the American dream costs? Yeah, according to the experts, $5 million. What exactly that price tag entails coming up when the Sunrise Show continues in our next half hour.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We're coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning drive. We'll take you to Clackamas, specifically south of Clackamas on I-205. That is a thick drive this morning. Not that that's all that unusual, but just to let you know, we're always watching it. And right now it is slow from Clackamas to West Lynn. Our speed sensor showing about 12 miles an hour or so on that side of town. The rest of the drive times, we're actually a little bit better now on the Banfield than we were. Not the case out of Clark County, though. There's the live look up at SR 500. That trip in from Main Street. Rod, that is why you are glad that you work the hours that you do. 30 minutes gets you in from Main Street.
Yeah, being on the road in the 3 o'clock hour is a growing perk, I will tell you. Here's a look at our Salem sky camera. The iris is a bit orange there, but it is a clear sky morning. More of a believable view, if you will, over the Willamette in downtown Portland. 53 out the door. Big headline today is not only the sun, but the warming weather back well into the 80s. Haven't done that in a while. 74 degrees at noon, 85 at 5 o'clock. We will be at close to 85 again tomorrow. We still have sunny afternoons expected all the way through Sunday at this point. Shower chance develops Monday.
Welcome to the 7:30 half hour of Sunrise on this Tuesday morning. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Trina Green. We start this half hour with breaking news in southeast Portland, where fire crews are investigating a food cart explosion. Portland Fire says the explosion damaged 6 other carts and affected 2 permanent structures.
KGW's Libby Dowsett is live along Southeast 82nd Avenue. So, Libby, let's talk about witnesses and what they had to say about this.
Well, there were a lot of witnesses who are coming forward right now and talked to us earlier here at the Springwater Cart Park on Southeast 82nd and Harney. The flames are out, but you can still smell the burned carts and see fire investigators there breaking down the carts that burned. No one was injured as arson investigators confirm 6 carts and 2 buildings were damaged just before 4:30. The smoke was seen by neighbors all around the area. They say at least 2 of these carts, including Philly Billy, are complete losses. Investigators say one cart had its stove fly from one end of the cart to the other in that explosion. Witnesses showing up here describing this explosion as huge and even thunderous. Nikki Bishop, a bartender just getting off her shift at the Tired Feet Tavern 2 buildings down, told us she heard the boom and saw the fire.
There was huge mounds of black smoke coming out the top, just waffling like in circles. And after that started happening, then there was red flames that came from the top of the cart that just started taking over.
And the fire inspector allowed us to get an up-close view this morning of the destruction. We saw doors blown off, glass scattered around the area. So a lot of destruction that they're picking through right now behind me. And no cause, official cause yet, but of course all of these carts run on propane. Now back to you.
All right, Libby Dowsett with the latest for us on that food cart explosion in southeast Portland this morning. We have more local news headlines to get to, but first, let's check in with Rod Hill and a look at your forecast.
Thank you, Drew. Good morning to you. I didn't think we would have fog at the coast, but we do in spots this morning. You can tell it's clear up here, so it's shallow. Here's Chinook Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 47 degrees. It will go on to be a clear sky day. And inland, we are pretty much as perfectly clear in nearly all locations. Downtown Portland, 53 degrees with the clear skies. The tail of today is the big warm-up, 74 at noon. And then after that, you'll want short sleeve shorts, sunglasses, 85 at 5 o'clock. Not record territory, but certainly well above normal for this time of the year. And that's your first full day of fall. Here's Chris.
Great barbecue weather. Nice segue to this. We have a domesticated loose animal alert on the east side. Yes, it's the rooster. And we're bringing this up because
There's a joke here.
yes, he's about to do exactly what you think he's. Eric, can you ask the rooster what he's about to do? I'm bringing this up actually because this is out near 82nd and Cooch, and obviously a busy road here. So hopefully I'll step out of the way. Oh, yep. Yeah. Okay, let's skip past that. We want to make sure that folks, somebody goes out there and collects their rooster. And
Don't do it.
This is 82nd and Cooch. He needs to get
No. Guys, come on. Okay, listen.
Let's go.
We
are
can't watch
gears
this.
here.
We'll get an update, but we don't need to watch it happen live.
I'm advancing.
Jeez Louise.
I'm advancing, and that is it for that. 82nd and Cooch. Watch out for that, and hopefully somebody goes out and collects that person, that animal. All right, let's go ahead and pick it up on the east side. 205 southbound, still running a little thick south of Clackamas. We've covered that a couple of minutes ago, and the drive over on the west side is running heavy as well right now. 30 minutes gets you from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Your time now is 7:34. People are mourning the loss of a local softball coach killed over the weekend in a wrong-way crash in the Gorge. Oregon State Patrol says a BMW SUV was driving the wrong way in eastbound lanes on I-84 Saturday when it hit a Tesla head-on. Authorities say the BMW's driver suffered serious injuries. The driver of the Tesla, identified as 40-year-old Jeff Flood, died at the scene. We spoke to the mother of a boy Flood used to coach.
He was the light of the community for his boys, his baseball boys. hard part was when we had our end of the year party, he says, I will always be here until the boys don't need me no more. And so I keep telling myself, we still need you.
Flood also worked as a light rail technician for TriMet, which says in part, quote, our hearts go out to Jeff's family, loved ones, and colleagues. A Washington judge is considering whether to release a 13-year-old boy accused of planning a mass shooting from a juvenile detention center. The teen was arrested 3 weeks after deputies say he posted threatening messages on social media. Those led investigators to his family home, where they say they found dozens of guns, ammunition, AR-style magazines, and several writings about school shootings. In court, his mother and defense team asked the judge to release the teen back to his parents and allow him to attend school.
If the court allows him to go to in-person school, he has no objection to going into the office and having his backpack checked every time he arrives at the school. If the court does not want him in in-person schooling, he has no objection to doing online schooling.
The judge will decide in 2 weeks if the teen will be released.
The family of a man who was killed when a tree fell on his Lake Oswego home has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the man's neighbor, the city, and a homeowners association. The lawsuit claims a tree from the neighbor's property fell on Frank Ness's home during a winter storm in January of last year. The suit accuses the defendants of failing to maintain, inspect, or remove that tree, even after Ness had expressed concern about it. We reached out to the defendants and are still waiting to hear back.
A Newburgh family is suing for $18 million following a deadly plane crash in 2023 that killed a student pilot, a flight instructor, and injured a passenger on board. Attorneys for the Ferris family filed a lawsuit against Hillsborough Aero Academy and Ascend Pilot Academy, a program associated with Alaska and Horizon Airlines. Their house was destroyed when the aircraft crashed through their roof. While the family wasn't physically hurt, they're alleging negligence and trespassing, saying they suffered extensive financial and emotional damage.
People living in southwest Portland's Multnomah Village have been voicing concerns about a low-barrier homeless shelter in their neighborhood. The Multnomah Safe Rest Village opened up there about 3 years ago, despite a lot of neighborhood pushback and safety concerns. Again, it's a low-barrier shelter, so that means people don't have to be sober to live there. Neighbors say that model should not be allowed in a residential area. During the 3 years of this site, they say there has been increased camping and drug use in their neighborhood. And they also say the city has not been responding to their concerns.
There's screaming, threats, fights that happen inside the SRV that people can hear all hours of the night.
Low barrier just doesn't belong in a residential neighborhood, and there's got to be a solution to that.
Blair Best and our team at The Story took a closer look at this story, including what the city had to say about the shelter and the low barrier concept. You can watch that full report right here on KGW+. More than 100 leaders of a local company called Logical Position were busy last week assembling hundreds of wellness packages for Blanchet House. Blanchet House is headquartered in Old Town and serves Portland's homeless community. Each of these packages included clothing, toiletries, and other essentials. The products were purchased by Logical Position with some help from local hotels and business partners.
Your time now is 7:38. Headed over Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, thank you. Hi. Here's a look at our clear sky. A little hazy out there, obviously. This is from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. In fact, a lot hazy, and a lot of this is wildfire smoke. So your air quality is expected to generally hold in the moderate range, but it will be monitored today. And we are getting with the north to east wind flow, parts of our state picking up wildfire smoke that haven't really seen much of it in the last handful of days. 46 degrees out in Wasco County. There's that east wind direction. Light, but it's there, east at 6 miles per hour. Portland, sunny skies. We may or may not start to pick up a little bit of wildfire haze. Right now, it's pretty much just perfectly clear. Light northeast winds today. Will be 70 degrees at 11, 80 at 2. The big story today is really the warming temperatures. 85 expected at 5 p.m. So kind of dress yourself accordingly today. If you're going to leave this morning and be outdoors this afternoon, it will be warm. Now, right now, it's jacket weather in Battleground 44, Scappoose 49, Hillsborough 47 degrees. Tiger at 52, good morning to you. Salem's at 51. It's 50 degrees down in Albany. Bruno and Dee Dee are two KGW Dogs of the Day. It looks like pals there. Use that email address, dogoftheday@kgw.com. Just include your dog's photo and name, and your dog or dogs will become our dogs of the day. There's Bruno and Didi. All right, this afternoon, how about 80 or better most inland areas? Yesterday it was 70 or better, so a definite warm up that you will notice. And the coast, shallow fog pockets right now, but 60s and 70s are coming to you this afternoon. We go 85 today, 80s tomorrow, sunny afternoons all the way into Sunday. Next rain chance shows up developing Monday afternoon. And here is Chris McGinnis.
Thanks for that. We've got a happy update to our rooster on 82nd Avenue. Photojournalist Eric Patterson, the brave photographer that he is, went out, scooped up the rooster, got him back into the coop with the rest of his rooster and chicken friends. This is 82nd and Cooch. Why I was showing you this, by the way, before is that the chicken was literally running across the street back and forth. So now that we've got that solved, let's go over to and thank you, Eric, for that. Let's go ahead and pick it up on the west side. Here's a live look at the sunset. Might as well call it the sunrise, as the drivers are just driving right into that sun coming up and over the Sylvan Hills. So slow spot number 1 over on the west side. That drive in from Hillsborough is holding steady right around 27 to 30 minutes. It's been teetering there for the last little while. And the trip from Clark County, of course, slow now over not only the Interstate Bridge, but the Glen Jackson Bridge at 205 drive time has picked up a little bit now. We're looking at 20 minutes to get you in from Padden Parkway. Guys?
All right, thank you, Chris.
Every component of the American dream has risen in price, not just over the past year, but really over the past 25 years.
Oh, that's great news, isn't it? The American dream obviously comes with a major price tag, and apparently that price tag these days is $5 million. But experts say, don't throw in the towel just yet. There's still hope. I don't think they've actually seen my savings account, but okay, we're still hoping over here. We'll have more on this story in your consumer headlines when Sunrise continues in 2 short minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Hey, let's get back to the breaking news we've been covering for the last couple of hours here on Sunrise. This is Southeast Portland, a live look right now at a food cart pod where a food cart exploded this morning, early hours. This is over at Southeast 82nd and Harney. We've heard from some witnesses who told us they saw huge plumes of black smoke and flames coming from this pod. One of the witnesses also saying there was a thunderous explosion coming from this pod when that one pod caught on fire. Of course, the investigation is still early, and we don't know yet what caused this explosion in Southeast Portland. All right, from that story, we move to this one. The question is, what does it cost to achieve the American dream? I know what you're thinking. I'm living the American dream by working next to China Green. This is more of a monetary story, though. According to new analysis from Investopedia, you now need to bring in more than $5 million over your lifetime to afford 8 key components of the American dream.
Well, these new numbers have many people wondering, Is that life still achievable, or is it just a pipe dream for most? Michael Yoshida breaks down the price.
Affording the American dream is getting more expensive, according to a new analysis from Investopedia.
Everyone has a different price tag on their American dream, but when we looked at what people want, the wants that people have, not the needs, it totals to more than $5 million.
Investopedia's Caleb Silver says they looked at 8 pillars of the classic American middle-class aspiration: retirement, owning a home, raising 2 children and paying for college, healthcare, buying a new car, yearly vacations, owning pets, and paying for a wedding.
Every component of the American dream has risen in price, not just over the past year, but really over the past 25 years.
Silver says several of these components have outpaced inflation. And while many Americans pursue some version of this life, the economic reality is it's getting harder to achieve it.
If you earn the median income throughout the course of your working life, we're talking about 40 years, from 25 to 65, you'll earn around $2.8 million or so. But if the dream costs $5 million plus and rising, you have to fill that gap somehow.
But Silver says don't focus on the $5 million price tag. Figure out what your American dream is and the amount needed to make that a reality.
It becomes a lot easier once you know what the number is, and then you can devote your time and your energy to both working, earning an income, and then investing your money so you can make that catch-up contribution so you can achieve the dream that you want to live.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
And if you're looking to buy new cars, prices might not be as high as you think, even with tariffs still in place. So most newly imported cars are subject to a 15 to 25% tariff. The Trump administration is hoping that the added tax will push many automakers to open plants in the U.S. and create more jobs. But despite tariffs, analysts say prices for the new models haven't accelerated like many auto experts expected.
Automakers have chosen to basically absorb the costs on their end. I think going into the next year, we're likely to see some pricing changes happen.
While many automakers are absorbing tariff costs, buyers are still experiencing sticker shock. Data from Kelley Blue Book shows that the average transaction price for a new car last month was just over $49,000. That is more than $10,000 higher than 5 years ago.
I find that talking about tariffs is not that fun.
No.
Can we go back to talking about the American dream for just a moment? The previous story.
Please do. Yeah.
It is interesting to think about all the things you have to spend on in the course of your lifetime. I do find that kids are the craziest expense you could possibly.
They are expensive.
They are expensive.
Worse than a dog, by the way.
For sure.
Okay.
But you just got your dog. Not there yet. But we've got 2, and they're draining us daily. And I sometimes look around at people who have 3 kids or 4, 5, and I'm thinking, how are they doing this?
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. Sometimes we went to Disneyland. And I thought the whole time I'm there, we can't afford this. Why are we doing this? This is killing us. And then I look around at all these people going, how are all you affording this?
Yeah.
It's really crazy when you think about
kids.
all the expenses.
Crazy.
Well, I tell my daughter's 18 now. I tell her, because I want to impress upon her, these are my exact words, just to live in a decent apartment or house, drive a decent car, and take a vacation every now and then takes a stupid amount of money.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. Oh boy, this is uplifting, isn't it? Let's take a look at our October outlook. This is from NOAA. This is very similar to what the agency projected for our September. So let's double check their work. September is not going to average way above normal, and I haven't actually looked at it, but the eyeball test says we're probably going to average at least some degrees above normal. And October could be in that same category, kind of some degrees above normal. In terms of rain, yeah, we've had some rain in September. We're setting just under an inch. I think that's going to be the total. But normally September would be like 1.5 inches. So technically we're going to end up September below normal. So what I would get out of this above normal October rainfall projection is it means it's not going to be bone dry. We're at least going to have some decent rainy days. And maybe the agency is exactly right and we get what would be about 2 3/4 of an inch of rain over the 31 days of October. So anyway, that's the outlook. When I just started to roll up my sleeves and put everything out on the kitchen table in terms of doing my winter outlook, which we will have for you mid to late October, I don't see anything overall as a pattern that's glaringly cold all the way through December, but I'm just starting to look at that. Okay, here we go. We have clear skies this morning. We do have some fog pockets along the coast, but everything that's foggy, including Lincoln City, seems to be kind of shallow fog that should be clearing. And speaking of the coast, there's Tillamook Head and Seaside. That's clear. This is from the rooftop at Gearhart by the Sea Resort looking back down south from Gerhardt. So the North Coast, just a fabulously beautiful morning. Here's Willamette Valley Vineyard sitting just south of Salem and Turner off of I-5. Clear skies out over the valley. Here are the West Hills, clear from the Providence Park live camera, 57 degrees the temperature. It will be a beautiful day. It's going to be summer warmth this afternoon, and it will probably catch you quickly. We'll go from a cool morning to, hey, it's pretty warm outside. So if you're going to be working later today, we're talking temperatures well up into the 80s outdoors. 49 in Kelso, currently 46 in the Dalles, still freezing in Burns and Baker City. Our valley forecast numbers. Here comes the summer type heat on this first full day of fall. 89 Corvallis, 87 Salem. Records are still up into the 90s this time of the year, but certainly well above normal. Southwest Washington, same, 85 Longview, 87 Battleground, 85 Vancouver. Wind direction today's northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 7-day forecast numbers, 80s today and tomorrow. And then maybe we get back into some low cloudiness at times in the morning hours starting Thursday with highs in the 70s. But these are sunny afternoons all the way into Sunday at this point. Next rain chance shows up Monday. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's take you to the Gateway District at 84 westbound, slow and steady coming in from 105th past I-205. That's I-205 right there, by the way. So there's 84 down below, and that is thick between there and the Hollywood District. Total drive-in from Troutdale now has jumped back up to about 32 minutes, so that's no fun this morning. Over on the west side, the inbound Sunset, about 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. And a late comer to the party here, but the northbound I-5 drive from Wilsonville really starting to tighten up. That's up to nearly 40 minutes at last check. Quick check of the trip out of Clark County over the Glen Jackson Bridge. That's not so bad, but the I-5 drive is certainly slow right now. That's 31 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Every person has the right to their name.
And for nearly 80 years, she was known as the Oak Grove Jane Doe, but now she's on her way to finally reclaiming her name. It's still to come on Sunrise, how forensic investigators are trying to crack Oregon's oldest cold case.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. The State Medical Examiner's Office is one step closer to solving what's believed to be the oldest cold case in Oregon.
It involves a woman known only as Oak Grove Jane Doe, who was murdered in 1946. Although the case drew national attention at the time, the victim's identity was never confirmed. McCarty has a story.
One of the oldest in the West, Oregon City's Mountain View Cemetery serves as the final resting place for many, with most grave sites marked clearly with a name.
Every person deserves the right to identification.
Among the headstones, one that reads, Unknown Woman, 1946.
Despite this case being nearly 80 years old, this is still a case that we would work to get identified.
Now, the state's forensic anthropologist, Haley Collard-Stalder, and her team are one step closer to finding out who she was. after connecting this gravesite to a woman only known as Oak Grove Jane Doe.
This case has some particularly violent and kind of heinous facets associated with it.
It's a nearly 80-year-old unsolved homicide after partial remains of a woman were found in a burlap sack in the Willamette River back in April 1946. Additional remains were found near Willamette Falls and the McLaughlin Bridge later that year. Clackamas County investigators determined the victim was a middle-aged white woman between 30 and 50 years old, petite in stature.
Being able to, I guess, restore at least the dignity of the decedent's name is something that is really, really valuable, not only for, the decedent herself, but also for her family who may be wondering what happened to her.
The evidence, including Jane Doe's remains, she explains went missing from law enforcement custody in the 50s, with no record of where they ended up. That is until someone with the medical examiner's office used findagrave.com to figure out the remains had been buried.
She found this woman's remains, and then she was able to back check all of the mortuary records to match with the case file that we had. And she was like, yeah, this is our unknown woman.
Remains now exhumed will be tested with technology not available decades ago.
What we would like to do is get this case sent out for forensic genetic genealogy.
And although identification could take years, Collard Stalder says what some may see as a disturbance of peace has a purpose.
It's something that we continue to work toward for everybody. Every person has the right to their name.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we have continuing breaking news coverage after a food cart exploded in southeast Portland, damaging at least 6 other carts. The latest that we're learning from investigators and witnesses. Then later.
My kids were mostly concerned about me meeting an alien, so that was like, okay.
That's pretty good. That's one reaction from one of the families of NASA's newest astronauts. We'll meet them coming up in our 8 o'clock hour.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on